Hello everybody and welcome to the stream. I'll draw a scene for you, as always using a variety of pencils, a smudging tool and an eraser. Alright, let's go. I'm starting by drawing my frame. Like so. And the horizon line today is going to be in the lower third again. You probably guessed it. Oh, absolutely not horizontal. Maybe that's somewhat horizontal, I don't know. Not completely, but maybe enough. Don't need to erase this. The horizon line's not going to be visible anyway. Okay. Starting with the sky. Giving it a very smooth transition of a medium light to a light gray. From the top to the bottom. From the top to the horizon. Taking a while again today, unlike yesterday. Covering those 2/3 of my space. But it's not the first time you wait for me to lay that sky down, so I think those who come back to the channel don't mind it and are prepared. Okay. Bottom half roughly done. Let's get it a little darker towards the top. Starting here, I'm applying more and more pressure. I am trying to make a conscious effort to not increase the pressure as I go to the right. I think it works, but I can't completely erase that pressure on the right side. It's still there, but I think not as bad as maybe in some other drawings. Okay. That's that part of the sky. Now I'm taking the smudging tool and make it more smooth by going left and right again, starting at the top and going down towards the horizon, trying to get rid of the lines. And there are some fingerprints on the left side of the sky. Don't know where they come from though. This is a completely fresh block. Maybe someone who picked it up in the store before me and didn't buy it opened it and tested the paper. But I don't know, it could also be me subconsciously touching it at some point. Don't want to push the blame on anybody right here. And since we've got this larger sky, Let's take this opportunity to get rid of those. Not with clouds though. I wanted to put a tree there, so it's going to disappear behind a tree, but let's put the clouds here anyway. I want to try something right here, trying to put a couple of clouds in front of each other, overlapping like this. Just a couple. So the tree is going to be here, so I don't need a lot there. A cloud over here, one right there, and then maybe right here there are a lot of clouds. Up in the sky. One more right there. Maybe like this. Let's try a different pattern, a different constellation of clouds. I can only learn new things if I do new things. So that's what I'm doing. Changing things up, trying new things. Okay, maybe those are the outlines of the clouds. Let me get rid of the residue of the eraser. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of having finished that one drawing block. In the beginning of it I had a couple of different sketches. It has 50 pages, but not all those 50 pages are used for this series of drawing. I don't know if I should call it tutorials, but let's call it that for lack of a better word. So yeah, not all of those 50 pages are used for it, so it's not that I have 50 drawings now, but you know this if you count my videos anyway. But yeah, I'm still proud of having finished that other block. Okay. Just going into those clouds with the usual shadow at the bottom. Don't know if I'm going to make the sunlight come from a particular side today. Or maybe I should have it come from the right again, just like yesterday. Yeah, I'm going to do that since this drawing today is going to be connected with the one yesterday. I want to try something out and compare what I'm doing today with what I did yesterday, so let's keep this the same. Sunlight coming from the right, so the shadows are going to be at the left. Therefore, I'm drawing in some C's in those clouds. Just some arcs open to the right. So each one of those is the left side of a volume popping out of the cloud. Some more right here. And then going on to this one. right there, and up here. Let's give this one another layer right here. Okay, this one's next. Let me first finish all the bottom sides of the clouds so I can see where the next cloud starts. Right there. Just go along this bottom edge of the area on your paper that you erased. Okay, maybe this one has a different shape, and since it's more up in the sky, we see it more from the bottom, so maybe all of this area is in the shadow, except for the right part, of course. Shadow, 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 with a little bit of light areas in between, of course, since not all the shadows have the same value. Some are darker when that surface that you're drawing is turned away from the sun more, and some are lighter when it's turned a little bit more towards the sun, but still in the shadow. Okay, maybe like this, and then let's get this one done also. Just to have a little cloud up there. Okay, continuing with the seas in here. And then up there. Gonna be a lot of shadows over here since this side is turned away from the sun. Let's have an area of more shadows right there. Okay. Maybe those are our clouds. Okay, next thing I want to do is draw some sort of land above the horizon. Just like yesterday, just something like that. And then below the horizon, it continues. Now I'm just giving it a general value again. No features, just something in the distance. There you go. Okay. Next thing I should do is take the 3B pencil and draw a separation line between this landmass and the lake that is going to be there. Like this. And then I also start drawing the water in the lake. Going to start darker, like this, because I noticed that yesterday you could barely see the water. So now I hope you can see it. Let's get our reflection going on in there in the middle. Try to keep those lines horizontal. I tend to bend them at the end. Okay, maybe the reflection goes up to this point. Get it all colored in right here. Just a value down there, just so that something's down there. Okay. Well, you can see the water now, but you can barely see this highlight, this reflection. So let me make this a little darker. The water around the reflection. Right there, okay, so we've got a darker area here. I think you can see it now. It's not perfectly visible for you, but I'm going to be satisfied with that. Next thing I need is some land poking in here. Maybe up to this point. Okay, let's go in with the 3B pencil. Draw that in. Make it a little darker than the background. And then press even harder with the same pencil to give it some structure. Okay. Next thing, of course, I'm going to have some trees here. I'm going to start with the trunks, but only using the HB pencil and only indicating those. Since I want to change the technique for those trees today. I'm going to try to do what I did when, I don't know the date or how many drawings before this one it was, but recently, last week I think, when I was rather happy with how the trees turned out. I'm going to try the same thing with the 3B pencil right here, but today I'm also going to add some highlights in there and try to make it more three-dimensional, try to make it look more like the sunlight comes from the top and not from right behind the tree, so it's not backlit. Okay, so we can make out the features of this tree to the right, since it's a little separated from the others. But right here, I'm not trying to draw the shapes of single trees, but just where those trees are going to be, I'm making those patches of leaves. Right here, like so, and then over there, one more, just like so. Maybe, I guess. Yep. Now, I don't know how I'm going to put those lighter areas in there, to be really honest. I think I'm going to leave it at that for those trees in the background. And then I want to have one in the foreground right here anyway. I'm going to give that one more detail by giving it some highlights. Okay, just adding the trunks right here so those leaves don't float around. Make it go out of the frame right here completely. Okay, so there's another bit of land right here. Where the other tree stands. Yeah, let me just draw that in. And then give it some detail. Just random lines back and forth. Okay. Want to indicate this trunk. The tree stands right here. And it goes up to those fingerprints. So maybe I'm going to try it like that. I'm going to leave out some lighter areas from the beginning. So the light areas are going to be at the top right, and they're going to be fewer at the bottom left, so let me just draw those in, some volumes in there for the light part. Maybe like this. Maybe here's one more, here's one more. One more at the top. Okay. Let's get rid of the residue. And take the 3B pencil and start with those leaves. Now I'm making those patches larger to indicate that this tree is closer to us. And I think it's not going to go completely to the right, so let me correct this a little bit. Fade it into the background. I want some of those trees in the background to still be visible, so that's why I'm not making this tree right here go completely to the left outside of the frame. Okay, just here, and that's how far it's going to go to the left. Alright. The usual random zigzag lines. And now I'm trying to create some shadow parts at the bottoms of those blank areas that I erased. It's going to be darker. So I'm drawing in those shadow areas right now. And also just in between the blank areas I'm filling in shadows. A little bit of shadows to the left and some more on the right side. Maybe like this. Now I'm taking the HB pencil and very lightly, I don't want to destroy this effect. I think it worked out rather well. So I'm just very lightly going to draw in some patches of leaves in those highlighted areas. Don't want to destroy this effect that I created of shadow and light. Not completely perfect, but I think I'm going to leave it at that. So there's our tree in the foreground, and let's also give it a trunk right here. I'm shifting it a little to the left so that it's centered below this mass of leaves. Okay. Now I want to go a little bit more in detail with the water before I start with the last touch on this. So first of all, I'm going to create a water line something to separate this land from the water right here as well, just like in the background. Just some waves that can be seen there. And then I'll add some dark areas in the back. Let's get a little darker down here. And then get this area nice and dark. Maybe it goes back a little bit over there. And then right here a little darker, leaving this small highlight in between. And let's go a little darker right here as well. Okay, now I want to add some waves in the foreground by just making horizontal lines that have a little waviness to them and some dynamic, being a little thinner and a little thicker at certain areas, just irregularly getting thinner and a little thicker. So some waves down here, maybe down there. Let me have something right here. It's going to be some more land. And then some waves in this dark area. Switching to the HB pencil, I'll make some finer waves in the background. I'm not going to spend too much time on this since I know you can't see it. Just lines that are closer together than in the foreground, and I'm not giving those a dynamic or a wave, just horizontal straight lines back there to indicate some waves in the very distance. Okay, just like yesterday, I want there to be a willow right here, but there's also going to be a little bit of a beach right there, so this area is light, would be beige if I was drawing this in color. Excuse me. Okay. Shouldn't have given it this line right there. What am I going to do about that? Maybe I'll add some more waves washing up on the shore. But before I do that, I'll indicate the shape of my willow. There's a volume right here. And another one hanging over more like there, and then we've got one. Maybe some branches hang down right here, and some hang down right there. Okay. Now I'm going to give it those waves washing up on this little tiny beach. And then, I don't know, just have a little bit of a light value for the sand. Maybe some areas are a little darker where there are some indentations. Let me see if I can pull that off so it's even visible for you. Let me extend this out of the frame a little bit. I'm going to erase it anyway, but if I make it go out of the frame like this, there's not going to be a gap later between the drawing and the frame. Okay, yeah, I think you can see a little bit of a very soft structure in the sand. It's not like anybody has been walking there recently making indents with very sharp edges. The indents of the people walking here are a couple of days old and they are softened up, maybe by rain, maybe by the wind. Okay, so now I'm coming to the last part, which is going to be this willow. Now, unlike yesterday, let me try and draw in some branches here. The tip of those branches are going to be visible. They're not very thick right here. Just some lines with the 7B pencil, some curvy lines going down here, making them overlap right there. Something going in right here, something going in right there. Maybe like this. Okay, and then today I'm going to erase this area of the background, since yesterday it didn't completely fade into the tree. So today I'll see if I can make this disappear completely behind the tree. Okay, I'm not going to bother with the sky too much. Just my main focus was this land in the background and the water line. That's what stuck out the most yesterday. So now I'm taking the 7B pencil again, and just like yesterday, I'm making zigzag lines going downward. And right here to the left, it's going to be the darkest area. So I'm going to make the most lines here. Make them connect a little bit at the top, so it doesn't look like they're floating. Get some lines in between, make it rather dark over here. I'm trying to think which one of those volumes, the very top one or this middle one, is going to be in front of which one. But maybe it's not even going to make a difference for what I have to draw. I think this one should be in front of that one, since this one comes out very much to the side. But yeah. Then again, maybe I shouldn't get too caught up on that. Maybe I should just draw in the strings of leaves and have that sort itself out. Go a little darker here. Okay. Now I'm going to this area right in front of us. Gonna make this one, the edge, really dark as well, so it separates from this volume that's a little bit to the left of it. And that's also why I left this area of the left volume a little bit lighter, so I can have a difference in value to separate them. I'm not making all those strings of leaves going down entirely. Some of them start in the middle and go down. Some of them start at the top and go down to the middle. They don't all just start at the top and go down to the bottom. I still have to make this area darker for the separation of the volumes, maybe by just cross-hatching this, going in there a little bit more. Now I've got a separation. That's better. Okay, going in here as well, in there, and then I'm going to create some minor volumes in there by giving some darker leaves right here, a string right there, maybe one right here. Some darker area there, something hanging down here. Okay. Maybe like this. Okay, let me finish up with that volume up here. Something right there, and hanging down right there. A little more here. And then let's get the very left a little darker, like this. Okay, now I'm switching to the HB pencil and get some lighter strings of leaves in there. here, just like so. And I want to create a transition from the darker areas to the lighter areas. So I'm placing those HB value leaves to the right of those darker strings that I drew with the 7B pencil to create this transition from the darker to the lighter areas. Something right there. Right here. Oh boy. Looks like the god of drawing is with me today. I like this very much more than the result of yesterday. But I mean, some drawings just turn out better than others. That's what it is. It's not like getting better is just an approximation. It doesn't mean that the next drawing you draw is going to be better than all the other drawings you ever drew. Of course, there are going to be better ones and worse ones, even into your career or your hobby, your drawing experience. Maybe after 1 year you will have a drawing that's as quote unquote bad as one yet that you made in your first week. It's more like a meandering value, the quality of your drawings. It's better at some points and worse at others. And we gotta learn to deal with that. Otherwise it gets way too frustrating. Drawing can be frustrating enough as it is. No need to get caught up on things that you think went bad. And you should just rather be happy when something turns out really well. Just like I am right now. I really like this today, the way this turned out. I'm simply giving the area below the willow a shadow. And now I'm done with today's drawing. So, let me clean up those edges. Not sure if I should give this tree a couple more leaves to make it look more complete. To the right side, I think I'm just going to add some more right there and here. What the heck? Like this. Up here. Don't know. Maybe like that. Okay. But you gotta call it finished at some point. You're always going to see mistakes that you made. Maybe once you advance to the next step in your technique, or maybe just looking at a finished drawing the next day, you're going to see mistakes that you made. And I think, well, of course you can go in and correct them. At some point you should declare something done and move on to the next thing. Because the more you create, the more you're going to learn. And the more you're going to stick with one thing and trying to perfect it, the more you keep yourself stuck. Of course, you learn things when you correct something, and you train your eye when you try to find mistakes, but that's not all of the drawing process. And at the end of the day, the drawing process is the drawing process. So draw something, and then draw something else, and then draw something else again. Just go ahead. Go forward every time, or most of the time, at least. Okay, I'm just gently wiping off that eraser residue right here. Okay. So I do want to get another webcam, and I set myself the target or the condition to get to 10 subscribers, and then I will look for a webcam that is better suited for what I'm doing right here, and also get a tripod so the footage doesn't shake too much. So that's the purpose of that, is for one, as a motivation for me to continue, as a very, very low threshold, of course, with only 2 subscribers missing. But of course, it's also an incentive for you watching this who is not subscribed to leave a subscription on the channel. I'd really appreciate if you left a like on the video as well, if you liked it. Yeah, I hope you got something out of it. Some inspiration, motivation, or maybe it's useful for you as ASMR to get some work done yourself, whatever you're working on. But with this being said, I'd like to thank you again, and bye-bye. I'll see you in the next one.